Right. Today, briefly, I want to talk to you about these pesos and how it works at the ATM machine. I'm not going to go into detail, but a lot of folks keep asking this about the money, what it looks like, how it works, because a lot of folks still assume that when they go to the ATM machine, they're getting US dollars out the machine. So let me reiterate, when you go to the ATM machine, make sure my thing on. When you go to the ATM machine, there ain't no US dollars coming out of no machines ever, anywhere in Merida. May be different in some of these tourist towns like Cancun, but in most all of Mexico, for the most part, there's pesos coming out of these ATM machines. Period. And just as a rule of thumb, nobody accepts cash, US dollars cash. They do call pesos cash as well. So when you hear somebody say, hey, we only take cash, they're not talking about your US cash. They're talking about their Mexican cash. They do acknowledge and call cash or pesos cash. So just don't get the terms intertwined. Don't get it confused. It doesn't mean anything. The only thing they take in here is pesos. Now, so what happens is when you go to the ATM machine, you'll be given some options. You put your card in. It'll let you know you can choose to change the language to English, or sometimes that option won't be there, but you'll see English text under the Spanish word. So just stare at the screen for 15 seconds to kind of get your eyes acclimated to what you're looking at, and you should see English somewhere on the screen or some options to ask you to select English. So when you put your card in, you'll see different denominations. It'll say 100, 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, or other. So if you choose the 5,000 option, basically you're pulling out 5,000 pesos. That's what it's saying. It's not talking about 500 US dollars, 5,000 US dollars. You're talking about 5,000 pesos. So what does that look like? Let me show you. So excuse my cup here. So if you see an option that says 5,000 pesos, the machine gonna give you 5,000 pesos. So what this looks like is it's gonna look something like this. So this is 500 pesos. Looks like a lot of money, but hey, y'all hear me recording, child? Come on, help me out. Work with me. Work with me. Um, so when you see the option that say 500 pesos, if you just choose 500 pesos, you're getting this 500 pesos, which is equivalent under the typical exchange rate when it was when I first got here. This would be about equivalent to 25 US dollars. Now, sometimes the ATM machine may give it to you like this. They may give you a 200, a 200, and a 100. That's 500 pesos. So it may break it up into different denominations. Now, sometimes the machine will spit out a bill that looks like it's a $50 bill, which will be 50 pesos. It'll also spit out denominations in 20. So it'll be 20 pesos. So all you simply do is add the numbers up until you get the denomination. So if you're buying something in the store that's 700 pesos, then guess what? Take out 500. If you got a bunch of bills, take out 500 and 700 and 200, and that's 700 pesos. That's what it is. It really is that simple. If something costs 300 pesos in the store, that's about 15 US dollars. So you just count your money. 200 and another 100, that's 300 pesos. It's pretty simple like that. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. So all that you see here, this is about I can't remember. I think we pulled out like 17,000 pesos out the ATM machine today. Somebody had a clothing. So this is 17,000 pesos, which at today's current exchange rate is the equivalent to about $1,000. So 17,100 pesos. So when you add all this up, it becomes 17,000. So how do you do? 1,000. Two more, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 5,500. That's what in this stack. 5,700, 5,900, 5,000, 6,000. So now this is 6,000 pesos. That's what it looks like. So they're swapping out currencies. They're changing the bills to minimize counterfeiting. Same thing we do every from time to time. We update the design of the bills. So some of it may look different, but the denominations are going to be the same. Now, some folk get thrown off because they got coins into the mix. Well, not that much different. So the coins come in different denominations. Like this coin here says 10 pesos. Now, they do use the dollar sign here. So when you're in the store, you might see something that says $10. So it looks like $10 in our state, in our country. But that's actually 10 pesos. So the dollar sign doesn't mean anything. It's not US dollars. So you go in the store and see something for 500 and they have the dollar sign in the front, that's 500 pesos. Again, take US dollars out of your equation, out of your mind, out of your brain altogether. Nothing, no matter what price tag you see in the store, is in US dollars. It's all pesos. So this is 10 pesos, not $10. So if something is 20 pesos, guess what? You can do, and it's also written in Spanish here. Drop that. It's also written in Spanish here at the bottom. DS pesos, DIEZ pesos. So if you can buy something in the store and it's 20 pesos, guess what? You get this is 10 pesos. This is another 10 pesos, and that's 20 pesos. If you have a 20 peso, you got a 20 peso bill in your pocket, or 50, anything. All right. So I was hoping I had a $20 bill, 20 peso bill here, but I don't. But if you have a 20 bill, it's the same as these two coins, which are 20 pesos. 20 pesos is 20 pesos, whether it's in coins or bills. So you also have denominations of 5. So again, that's not $5, that's 5 pesos. So that's 5 pesos. They also have 2 pesos. So again, you just add it. This doesn't change the fact that it's a coin, that is anything different. So if something costs 12 pesos, you can give them a 10 and a 2. If you don't have change and something costs 12 pesos, you can give them a 20 peso bill. And then they'll give you 8 pesos back, which looks like this. So that's 5 pesos. And that's a 1, I believe. 1 pesos. So that's 7 pesos. That's 8 pesos. So if something costs 20 pesos, that's if you have a 20 peso bill and you buy something for 12 pesos and you get 8 pesos back and change. So they'll give it back to you something like this. Or they might give you a 2 peso coin. So that's 5, 7, 8. All the same, just so you know. Now they do have this coin here. You got to kind of look at the coin closely. It is a 20 peso coin. It's 20 pesos. Man, my fingernails look a little rough. And it says it. Let's see. But you see it right there. 20 pesos. 20 pesos. So I just wanted to share that with you briefly. When I get some other bills and denominations, I'll break it down a little more for you. But all of this here is like 17,000 pesos, and it looked like a whole lot of money, but it's not. 17,000 pesos in bills, and that's about $1,000. Makes sense? So when you're in the store and you see something that says 500 and it has the dollar sign, like the US dollar sign, don't think 500 US dollars. Think more like $25. At today's exchange rate, it's probably more like $27, $28 is what this 500 bill would be worth. So this is 1,000 pesos. During the typical days, this would be worth 1,000 pesos would be about 50 US dollars. That's what this is worth, 50 US dollars. In today's exchange rate, probably about uh, uh, 45 US dollars, maybe. I'm just estimating. So that's what this is all about, maybe 45 US dollars. So that's that. So coins, always keep coins in your pocket because sometimes when you go to if you're down in Central and you need to use the bathroom, many places will charge 5 pesos or 6 pesos to use the bathroom. So this would be these two coins right here, 6 pesos. So always keep coins. When you go in the grocery store, you generally going to tip the guy bagging your groceries. You might give him 10 pesos, which is about 50 cents. When you're everybody got to hustle out here. When you backing your car up out the parking lot, there's gonna be a guy flagging you and helping you direct, holding traffic back, telling you to turn your wheel and all of that, and you roll your window down and you might give them 5 or 6 pesos, thanking them for your help, whether you needed his help or not. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to hustle out here. You know what I mean? It's their way of making money. Sometimes you might go to the convenience store and some random guy is just opening the door for you to let you in, and then he opening the door to let you out. This is at the convenience store. You got a few extra pesos, you can give it to them or you don't. I've seen a couple of American guys out there. I guess they fell on some times, and they was holding the door open with his Dallas t-shirt on, Dallas, Texas t-shirt on, talking about, hey, what's up, man? And holding the door open and folk giving them a few pesos as they was coming out the store. So always keep change in your pocket or in your purse. Don't get out of the way. Don't think you don't need it. You're always going to need change everywhere you go, even if it's only just for tipping, because everybody get a tip out here. Now you don't have to break the bank. 5 pesos, 10 pesos is like 50 cents. 5 pesos is like 25 cents or 22 cents. You just kind of helping out. So just be mindful. Also, when you go to the store, don't be using big bills. If something costs 150 pesos, they hate it when you're trying to give them a 500. If all you got is 500, then that's different. Try and work with them. Sometimes they won't break it. So try and use the lower denominator. If something costs 100 pesos or 60 pesos, try and give them the 200. Try and give them the 100. But don't try to give them the 500 because many times they ain't gonna take it. A lot of times, folks be trying to run frauds and scams with it. That's another reason why they won't take it either. So again, just something to be mindful of and pay attention to. Always keep change on your persons, coin change, because you will need it. It will come in handy more times than not. When you get the gas, when you're getting gas, if you're driving and you're having to fill the gas tank up here, you're not allowed to pump your own gas. So the attendant is pumping gas, 5-10 pesos. You give the guy 5 to 10 pesos for pumping your gas. But they'll generally wipe your window down. If your tires need air in it, they'll put some air in the tire. Full service. If they need to change your oil, they'll do that on the spot, et cetera, et cetera. So just some stuff. Again, when I get some more denominations, I will make some more videos about this just so you can be clear on it. I believe Tia Nikki made a video on her YouTube channel, and she might have went more in depth. I'm just bringing it back up again because more and more people seem to still be confused when they arrive here about the currencies. So just keep in mind, your US dollars don't work here. Nobody wants it. So if you bring in a whole lot, it's not going to be helpful. You're going to have to exchange it at one of these money exchange places. You're going to lose some value of that by doing that. But hey, that's the cost of business. So you can order cash, and I believe Tia Nikki talks about this on her channel. You can order cash, pesos, Mexican pesos from your bank before you arrive. How much should you bring? I don't know, but if you're going to be renting a house while in Mexico, most places will require 3 to 4 payments up front to move into the house. So let's say if your rent is, let's say, the equivalent of 500 US dollars, or let's say 10,000 pesos, you're going to need your first month rent of 10,000 pesos. They're going to require a deposit, which is another 10,000 pesos. It's equal to the rent. If you don't have a co-signer, or what they call an avail, there's going to be another deposit. So you're going to have to pay 2 deposits. So another deposit of 10,000 pesos. So right now we're up to 3 payments, which is 10,000 pesos, 20,000 pesos, 30,000 pesos. And many of them, all of them, will charge you what is called a contract fee, basically a lawyer's fee for doing all the paperwork, doing the contract, getting the notary to check and approve everything. And many places will charge either 1 month, the contract fee is equal to 1 month, or in many cases is half the month rent. Is what the contract fee would be. So sometimes you can negotiate that. Some places don't, but hey, you can ask. Oftentimes we ask. Many times we get it reduced or cut in half. So always ask. That's negotiable. Ask. So always, so expect to bring 3.5 to 4 months. Just say 4 months to be on the safe side. 4 months of rent payments if you're going to be coming here to live and getting the rental. Order that cash from the bank, because see here, so at 10,000 pesos times 4 payments, that's 40,000 pesos. Many of these ATM machines generally won't let you withdraw all that. The ATM machine from the States, your bank account may only allow you to withdraw 500 US dollars per day, which means you will have to go make 4 daily withdrawals in order to get the 40,000. Now, if your rent is more than that, you're gonna have to go more times than that. So again, it depends. If you have a small daily withdrawal limit on your from ATM withdrawals, call your bank and tell them you need to increase that. Because sometimes it may take a couple of days for them to approve the increase. So call ahead of time before you leave. Increase my daily withdrawal limit out in the ATM machine. Mine is like $1,000 per day of daily withdrawal. My Mexican bank card, there is no daily withdrawal limit on mine. Now, however, each individual ATM machine may have a daily limit on how much you can draw. So, for example, Santander, many of the ATM machines will only allow you to take out 11,000 pesos. And then you can't use that machine, not just that particular machine, but any of the other Santander ATM machines. You can't use them until the next day to withdraw out more money beyond that 11,000. I think some of them allow you to do 13, but I tend to see 11,000 as the daily. Some other machines, for example, might only allow you to withdraw 5,000. Some pesos, I'm talking pesos, not US dollars. So anything that I'm talking about is always going to be in pesos unless I indicate otherwise. So again, just be mindful of that. Also, so daily withdrawal limit, bring enough cash so you don't have to worry about stressing out. We almost had a situation where the individual couldn't withdraw all the funds out because the bank was giving them an issue and telling them it's going to take a couple of days for them to approve the daily withdrawal limit. So they sent me some money. I went to the bank and pulled some of it out. My lady is here. I got a lady. The girls are getting fitted for some bras. I found this lady online. She comes to the house, bring all these selections of bras and all of that, and she fits you. She has underwear. She has nightgown wear, nightwear, and she fits them. So she just pulled up in my driveway. So I got to go and let her in the house and whatnot. She's texting me already saying she's here. So I'll let y'all know how that go. I got to go, so I hope I can get one of them to document this document what's going on, so y'all can get an idea of what's happening.